What's going on, everybody? My name is Jordan. I'm here today at Night and Day Performance. I have a 2018 SRT Durango. We are going to go ahead and show you how to take off the tail lights if you ever need to take the tail lights off. So we're going to go ahead and take off this long strip as well as taking off the side pieces as well. It's normally not that difficult, but we're going to go ahead and walk through it with you guys. Main tools you're going to need are, if you have a hand ratchet, perfect. If not, that's fine. You're going to need a 10mm socket to go ahead and get these bolts off right here. Also, you're going to go ahead and need a pry tool. If you can get a pry tool with the end that is kind of like, you know, rounded off so that way you can go ahead and pop all the push pins out, that'd be perfect. There are 2 push pins on the inside of the tail light, and you're probably going to need it as well to go ahead and slowly walk your way around to get all the push pins and everything out for the back panel, so we can go ahead and get to the rest of the bolts that are on the inside of the tailgate so we can get the rest of the tail light off. Other than that, it shouldn't be very hard, but we're going to go ahead and do a quick video of it so that way you can go ahead and take it off yourself. Here we go. So like I was saying, there are 2 push pins here and here that you have to go ahead and remove so you can go ahead and get the outer tail light out, as well as the 2 bolts that I was talking that you need for the 10mm socket you need to get, or it's right here and right here. You take those 2 off, as well as here and here. There are normally more bolts in between the tailgate and this panel right here, but we're gonna have to get the panel off, which you'll need the push pin puller or a pry tool that you can go ahead and pop the panel off to get to the rest of the bolts on the back side. That the outer tail lights are already off, like I said, you go ahead and take the 2 push pins out. You can go ahead and just pop it right out. You might have to wiggle it just a little bit, but once you wiggle it just a little bit, it has enough play in it to where you can pop it right off completely. It's like that on both sides. Once you take off the back panel of the tailgate, there are the bolts that I mentioned. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and once it clears up, 12. Once you get those bolts off, the tailgate light itself will go ahead and pop right off. Once you go ahead and take off all those bolts on the back side of the tailgate, you're gonna go ahead and need to grab yourself a T10. This T10, there are gonna be 2 bolts right behind the tail light. It is for the backup camera. There are 2 bolts, one on the bottom right-hand side and one on the left-hand side, and there's also the wiring harness. Once you go ahead and take off the wiring harness on the right-hand side is a gray clip. You unclip it. That way the whole entire tail light will go ahead and come off the tailgate. But like I said, you have 2 bolts you got to take off of the T10. Once those come out, the wiring harness is undone. Your tail light will go ahead and come right off the tailgate, and then there you go. That's how you take off your tail light off of a 2018 Dodge Durango. A really good tip to use that I use personally, my brother uses as well in our shop. It's just for a safety hazard, you know, that way you don't lose any bolts, you don't step on anything that's on the floor. Take all your bolts and put them right back where you got them from. That way, once you reinstall your tail light or a door card or anything like that on your vehicle, you already know where the bolts go. You are not missing any bolts, because things happen, things fall, you miss things, you know, you don't want to go through that every time. So if you just go ahead and put everything back, even when it's off the car, you don't have to look for anything. Just a really good tip to use next time you're going to go ahead and, you know, take anything off of your car. Have a good one.